Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and today I'm here with Mitch. What's going on, Mitch?
I was just not excited to talk about the game, and then I hear your voice saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show," and it just brings me just comfort and happiness. And I don't even remember that Arsenal drew today.
Yeah, that's not going to pep up my mood at all because I do not
I,
want to be
I,
here.
this was not a ploy. That was completely earnest. That was one
Okay,
hundred
okay,
percent
well, I'll take it.
completely
Thank you very much. That
earnest.
was very sweet of you, Mitch. However, not this was not why we wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. Granted, this was in the afternoon for us. Most of us had to
It
watch this
sure
at
was.
work. But even so, like I had to steal money from capitalists to watch that boring piece of shit game. And I'm not happy to be here, people. Like, you'll notice that coach is in here. Even he ran off that motherfucker. Coach, when I catch you, motherfucker. You when I catch you. Anyway, we're here to talk about Liverpool won, Arsenal won, or to say it correctly, Arsenal won. Oh shit. See, I'm
Nope.
I'm making shit up at this point. The game was so boring that I'm making shit up. It was Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Arsenal are still 6 points ahead of their chasers in the league table, but we just blew an opportunity to go 8 points clear, which I don't know. It's probably for the best because I was seeing some people saying some wild shit, and I mean, they're like 18 games left. Like, calm the fuck down, people. But in any event, Mitch, what were your expectations for this game?
uh, I expected us to win because we're very good and Liverpool aren't very good, and it was at home. That was what I was expecting going in, and then my hopium even went further once we saw the result yesterday of like Villa and a City both drawing. Was like, okay, a huge opportunity. We're gonna fucking win this. We're gonna maybe destroy them. It's gonna be like ugly. What's gonna happen? And after the first half, I was thinking maybe that was still gonna happen, and then we forgot how to play soccer in the second half.
Yeah, shit happens. Honestly, though, I have the proof in the form of a text from my group chat with Coach and the rest of our gang, and I was nervous about it. I was nervous because I fully expected Liverpool to come to the Emirates with the approach that they had today, and they're justified in doing that. I would never judge a team for showing up and deciding not to really play for real. They just came out to mid block and deep block us the whole game and potentially get something on the break, perhaps. And given the amount of injuries they have, given their form this season, that is a more than justified approach. Now, that said, we've heard Arne Slot bitch about other people doing that to Liverpool all season. But, hypocrisy, it's just a word from a dictionary. It doesn't matter. You do what you got to do to get the points in a league. So the man is trying to keep his job. But the lineup: Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapie, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Gyökeres, Trossard. What would you have changed? Were you happy with it?
I was on the record last weekend of saying that I wanted Jesus to start this game, and so I was a little surprised. Or I both wanted Jesus to start this game and thought he would start this game. So I was a little surprised to see Gyökeres in the lineup. But I think Arteta is at a point with Gyökeres until like Jesus and Havertz like fully take the starting spot from him in the way that they're playing. He's going to be rolling with him until it works.
Yeah, I agree with you on what I thought should happen. I fully expected Gyökeres to play because, you know, uh, for the most part, we've been getting great results with him starting games. So, and we've conceded goals when he's gone off the pitch in second halves. So, I figured the manager would just say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That said, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to bring Jesus in because he has priors against Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk is scared of him. Konate don't like him. And it would have been good to just give him a half, then give Gyökeres the other half instead of a 60-30 split. I thought that's what I would have wanted to happen. But when it didn't happen, it didn't surprise me and it didn't upset me. But in
Mm-hmm.
retrospect, maybe that's what should have happened, I think. Uh, that said, the game started and we didn't look bad. But before the game started, I saw the weather and that added to my nerves because I was like, this is not ideal. Like, rain soccer is fun, but not when it's also like cold. So it just looked like one of those games where it might be a little sluggish, but, we've mostly been a second half team this season. So I was like, you know what? We can fuck off the first half. That's pretty typical. And I thought we played okay in the first half. Not great, but okay. What did you make of the start of the game?
I with you with the weather. Like I was like getting home right around 1 when the game's kicking off, so I like threw it on my phone as I was walking up to my apartment. And it's a rare snow day in Colorado today, so I was getting snowed on while seeing like the game, just like of these guys just getting dumped rain on them, and I was like, oh, oh no, that's just like I feel like it's a thing you can't control, and I think that's just always frustrating, because it's I think completely changes the complexion of a game. I think it fit the way that Liverpool wanted to play more than it fits how Arsenal want to play. So it was a little bit concerning to see something like that, but I liked how we started the game. I think we had a lot of dominance, and there was a lot of moments, particularly from Bukayo, where it looked like we were going to score a goal in the first half. And we didn't get our goal, but I thought, like, overarchingly in the first half, other than like a couple moments, I think we played really well. And I think if we continued that through the second half, we probably would have won this game.
I agree. I agree. I wouldn't say it was the best version of Arsenal we've seen, but it was solid enough, and there were enough half chances. Um, there was a really great moment where Saka basically destroys who was marking him, Kirkes,
Kirkesh.
destroys him, cuts the ball back, but doesn't cut it back to anyone in particular. So that's a wasted chance. He cuts in at one point, shoots, curls one at Allison. Easy save for Allison, to be fair. Catches it before it bounces in front of him. There was a moment later in the half where Rice slips Saka in, and he takes a touch, but before he can get the shot off, Kirkers blocks the shot. So there were definitely moments in that first half, and we generally kept them pinned back. We ring fence them like we typically do teams that come to the Emirates. And Liverpool were not under any illusions about what they were there to do. They had 6 across their box, which they're defending champions, and I know they have injuries, but and Arne Slot has bitched about teams playing in a low block, but it was still weird to see Liverpool playing that way. But to be fair, we're really good, and they're really not, so I accept it. That said, they probably had what I consider the best offensive moment of that first half, when there was a moment of confusion between Saliba going backwards towards our goal, tries to pass it to Raya there. I think he's just cleared there. They're too close to each other, and Raya's clearance doesn't get enough clearance, and Connor Bradley tries to chip him from way out. The chip actually does work, but it hits the bar, it goes out, and that was probably the best overall chance of the first half for either team, I thought. But I don't think Liverpool played well enough to actually deserve that moment, to be honest. And I would say the other talking point from that half would have been the Frimpong incident, where he's sort of goes over his ankle and are coming together with Hincapie on the break in the box, and he didn't dive or anything. It was just one of those things that happens. It was not a foul, and he hurt his ankle. He needed medical attention as well. But that's really all they offered. We, again, mostly kept them pinned in. And I thought to myself, okay, next half we'll rise it like we've been doing all season. Yeah. That said, even in that first half, Mitch, I felt there was a bit of a lack of urgency from us. I felt like the ball sort of dwelled too long with the guys in the build-up phase. Like Saliba, for instance, just seemed a little tentative on the ball. Liverpool weren't really pressing us. It was more of a mid-block. So there was all this space that he could sort of run into, and he was so lethargic about it. He did, him and Gabriel, they had these moments where they could just drive into Liverpool's half because there was all this space. And they did it on occasion, but even when they did it, there was no conviction about it. Do you have any thoughts as to why? Not that our build-up guys are the most aggressive motherfuckers on the planet, but I just felt like they could have done more, or am I being a little harsh here?
I think two things with that. One, I do think the weather had a play with this. I think the ball itself was just moving slower, and it affects how fast you want to play. Like they even said during the like Peacock like halftime that they thought Arsenal should move the ball quicker to try to get a goal to open this game. And I agree with that, but I think that there was only so much you can move the ball quickly when the pitch is like waterlogged. There was a pass like in the first 5 minutes to like Zubamendi where the ball like moves in slow motion, and I think everyone on the field is expecting it to move faster than it was, so the Liverpool players don't even react to it. And I think that's just kind of like how the game was because of just like the nature of the pitch and stuff like that. In terms of our build up, it was interesting. I feel like I didn't see Odegaard enough, and I also feel like I didn't see him enough on the right side. Like it was often like you see that triangle a lot of Odegaard, Timber, and Saka. Interestingly, today I felt like it was often Timber, Saka, and Saliba. Saliba was getting really, really high up, when, especially when we were pinning them back in the first half, where there was a point where like he was making an underlapping run into the box, and I'm like, what are you? Why? Why are you here? Go back.
Like, and it's crazy. You say go back, but that I wanted to see more of that because the space was there. So you take it, and
It just
yes,
scares me for the
yeah,
counter,
yeah, it
especially
makes
against a team like
sense.
Liverpool.
I felt it was sort of like a half measure. Like there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't full commitment to that. It's like if you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
go,
yeah,
go,
yeah.
and trust that Zubimendi or Rice will fill in that gap for you behind you, and try to make something happen. It was just a lot of like, oh, am I gonna go? Am I not gonna go? Let me lay it off. Oh, I just laid it off to somebody that can't really do anything with it at the moment. Like it was just a lot of that going on in the first half, and I thought to myself, they'll fix it in the second half. But boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. But that's before we move into the second half, and folks, we'll be frank with you right now, this is going to be one of the shorter Arsenal episodes you've ever heard because not a lot happened in this game. It was really annoying to watch. I cost a bunch of rich white men a lot of money watching this shit instead of doing the work I should have been doing at work. And I just don't want to talk about it. It was a really annoying game to watch. I was frustrated for the entire 90 minutes. As a matter of fact, at one point, I actually turned it off. I never do that. I was so frustrated by what I was watching. I was like, I don't want to watch this shit anymore. It was bad. It was a bad watch. But that said, Mitch, halftime, did you think there was anything the manager could do besides the usual? Like, maybe put a rocket up him or some shit?
I usually don't really expect us to make changes at halftime. Whatever they did at halftime didn't work. Whatever team speech Arteta had was a bad one. Because I thought we had, like you said, we've had a lot of success in the second half of games this year, and I thought we played encouragingly enough in the first half where we were going to come out in the second half the way we typically do, which is better than we do in the first half, and be able to get a goal and be able to potentially build on it.
Right.
Obviously, that did not happen. It was very lethargic and almost apathetic. I felt apathetic as a fan watching that second half. The players looked apathetic playing it. I'm not using this as any overarching statement. I don't think that they weren't inspired to play or something like that. But like, I look at like the Bundesliga and I'm like so fucking jealous that they have like this beautiful little Christmas break. And instead, the Premier League turns it up to 11 and it's like, no, you're going to play more matches over December and January than you will throughout the entire season for some fucking reason. And I just don't understand why it is. And it creates a game like this where it's like this should be a marquee matchup, but it's being played on a Thursday and everyone's tired and injured. It's stupid.
Mitch, I didn't get the sense that the lack of performance from Arsenal was a function of the fact that the players were tired. It wasn't for a lack of energy. It was just, there was just a lot of sloppiness. The conditions weren't great. Obviously, we've talked about that, but there's just a lot of sloppiness, a lot of, in the second half, especially. I mean, now we're talking about second half, but it felt like in the moments where, because let me back up a second. Liverpool, despite their travails this season, are still a good team. They're a team with a lot of good players, a team with a high technical level. And they, over the last month or so, they haven't lost a game for a while, actually. They haven't been in great form, but they also haven't lost a game since about November. They've just been solid. And one of the ways they've done that is by defending with the ball. They have a very high technical level within that team. They have great midfielders. Gravenberg is good. Szoboszlai has been one of the better players this season. McAllister is a really good player. I thought he had a great game today. And they could just keep the ball. And it's a lot easier to keep the ball when you don't have much of an intention to do anything with it. And, occasionally they would do something when someone like Frimpong would get the ball because all he does is run with the ball and is quick as shit. But outside of that, they weren't really trying to, they didn't have a shot on target in this game. That's the first time Liverpool haven't had a shot on target since like 2023 or something. So that just goes to tell you. And they have a valid excuse for that. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just stating what happened. And for once, well, maybe not for once, it happens on occasion, but our out of possession play just wasn't great. We were letting them play all these bounce passes around us. But ultimately, they didn't create a lot of danger. One of the more dangerous moments in that second half came pretty early on when Wirtz got into the box, dribbled past a couple people, probably kicked the ball a little too far for himself and got budged off it by Trossard. Uh, I know it wasn't a penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty in real time, but do you have an opinion on it?
No, I don't think either of these penalty shots for Liverpool in this game were penalties. I mean, I don't think there was one for us on the other side either. I thought the Frimpong one was just like him tripping over himself. They tried bringing it up at the end of the half of like, oh, maybe we should have revisited this. And it's like, no, you're trying to create a story out of nothing. That's not a penalty. And I didn't think the Verts one was either. It was one of those, I saw someone point out that like, because Trossard is a little guy, he kind of like it looks a lot different than if Gabriel does that. Because if Gabriel does that, it's like, oh, you just got like outmuscled by a stronger player. But because it's Trossard, it's like, whoa, was that more aggressive than I thought because he's a little guy? But I don't think there's anything in either of those.
Right. I would now like to go off the reservation a bit. I had the because I wasn't going to rewatch the highlights of this game. There weren't any fucking highlights to watch. Yep. I read the match report from the Guardian, and it's fascinating. Like I think I know the reasons why. I've lived long enough and I've watched enough Arsenal and I've been watching this league for many, many years at this point. But people really don't like Arsenal. Like the salt in the match reports, like Ed Aarons in the Guardian wrote about this game as if Liverpool were like Brazil 82. Like they showed up and they were rejuvenated and it's like they didn't do shit. Like they didn't have a shot on goal. Like there was a Conor Bradley moment and that was it. That was it. And he was talking as if they just taught Arsenal a lesson. It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy, but that's neither here nor there. Hincapie went down in the 56th with what looks like a hamstring injury, and Miles Lewis-Skelly replaced him. I'm hoping that means, I mean, this is dark, but I'm hoping that means Calafiori will be back soon because it's like 1 in 1 out, I suppose. So any concerns there?
Yeah, because I did not like what I saw from Miles Lewis-Skelly. I'm a huge fucking fan of his. I think he's a great fucking player. This has not been his season so far. Right. I think especially against Frimpong, it was a huge mismatch. I think he was. I don't think I saw him get exposed for his pace the way that I have this year. Like when he was in the team for long periods of time last season. I think his positioning was better. His awareness was a little bit better last season. And it was not as clear that he was going to get like beat the way he was, because the only way that Liverpool were creating in the second half is after Hincapie came off, and Miles was just not doing well against Frimpong after coming on. And luckily, I don't think Frimpong had the quality in the final third to really make us pay for it. But in the middle of the field, Miles looked lost at times, which was not fun to see because I'm a huge fan of Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Like nothing you said is wrong, but I'm also of the opinion that, put it this way, who had a good game today?
No, I'm with you.
You're just stating what you saw. I'm not. Yeah. No one had a good game today, so everybody gets a pass from me today because no one played well. That's
completely fair. I think just with Miles, it's like it's now been multiple performances when he's come in and not played super great, and I think it's probably hurts that he's not playing as much in general, and it's hard to build up the rhythm when you're not playing as much in general. But it's especially apparent when when a player comes in and then all of a sudden another player on the other team that's their mismatch starts doing well. That's concerning, and that's like eyebrow raising, as opposed to like Declan Rice, who was fine today but played all 90 minutes. Like it's just like a little bit different when you come in as a sub and there's like a difference in the game.
They were all ass. I remember Declan Rice just kicking the ball out of bounds once, trying to pass a teammate like 10 yards, and he just hits it out of bounds. He just a whole bunch of like lumping. I know we're being more vertical this season, but there was a lot of verticality with no fucking purpose today. And we've seen versions of that in past games as well. But I don't want to dig anyone out today because my view in general is that when all the players are bad, you look at the coach.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the only players I liked what I saw today was Saka and Timber. And I liked a couple plays from Nani after he came on.
Yeah, for sure. Saka was probably our best player. Timber, let's talk about him a little bit. My guy, but I do think for the amount of time he spends in dangerous areas of the pitch, he's not efficient enough. Like his
Mm,
crossing needs to improve by a buttload.
that's
The
fair.
the what should have been, to my mind, the best sort of half chance we had in the first half was a moment where he was played in behind, and all he had to do was roll it on the floor across the box, and Yorkers probably gets there. But he picks the wrong cross, falls out of bounds, and it's like, bro, just keep your composure, man. Like fucking recite a Bible verse to yourself before you cross that shit, bro. Like do something, you know. And this is not just from this game. You know, this is a trend that we've seen throughout the season. He's had his moments. I remember that header against PSV away last season when we beat them 7-1, was it? Or 7-2, I think. And you know, he has his moments like all players in the box, but I just think he needs to improve his offensive output. You know, that said, I think what he offers defensively is so good that it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to lose his place because of this deficiency, but it's something that I think can level the team up so much if he just improves his final action, I think.
Yeah, I think it's maybe something that of like I think that he had a good game by attrition that he was like next to Saka the entire time. When you interchange with like the guy who was creating a lot of danger every time he was on the ball, it makes you look more dangerous. And I think that's a very fair criticism to like pick out his passes better.
Yeah, and I still remember the various moments where he got in front of Jokeres for headers that probably could have won us more points at various points in the season. There was Chelsea at Chelsea
Yeah.
away, and there's one other one. It may have been Sunderland, I think, where it was like, bro, just get out the way. This is not your job. You're not that good at it. Just leave it to the pros. You know, like you stop people, you don't score goals. You know, so but again, we're at the folks, as you can tell, we're reaching to find things to talk about because not a lot happened in this game. Liverpool, to their credit, I mean, defending with the ball isn't easy. It requires a high technical level, and they did it really well. And we just didn't really, in that second half, our intensity dropped. We weren't really pressing all that well. When we tried to press, they played through us because, again, they're a good team. But yeah, the next set of subs were Trossard and Yorkeres off for Martinelli and Jesus in the 64th minute. Did you have any sort of optimism that these changes would actually make something happen?
I mean, I'm ever the optimist, so I definitely would like both this change and then the as a Nani one. I was like with both of them. I was like, oh great, these like it's awesome to be able to bring on those four players as attacking subs when you're trying to break a game open at 0-0. I think I maybe would have liked a little bit more aggression on the second one. We took off Odegaard for Eze, and I maybe would prefer for us to take off like Rice for Eze or Zubamendi for Eze. There hasn't been many moments when we've played like dual genuine attacking eights, and I think it would be very fun, especially when chasing a game like this, or not chasing a game, but like trying to break a game open late. That we have both Eze and Odegaard on the pitch at the same time. Arteta went like for like, which I can't complain about. But yeah, I think I was hoping for more for basically all the subs. Noni had a dangerous moment the moment he came on.
Right.
But I'm going to loop all four of them together. Is like, yeah, they
Yeah.
played like the rest of the team did.
Yeah, those subs happened like 15 minutes apart, and the Nani moment was probably, I think it was right after that I turned the game off for like a minute or two because I was just like, this is ridiculous. Because I thought to myself, Nani, we all know what he's gonna do. Like if he runs on the outside of his fullback, he's going to cross the ball, and one person fell in the box, and the rest of them were just didn't get there. And I thought he did what he was supposed to do. Like
Yep.
at this point, like we know what he does, you know. So you guys play with him in training all the time. You should know what he's going to do. So you should be there. Like someone should have been there, you know, to at least get a shot off. I'm not saying you score, but at least get a shot off. And
Yeah.
in that moment, I was just like, we're not doing shit today. And I was wildly frustrated. That said, there were a pair of Liverpool free kicks from what I would consider Jobo's light range.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a little panicked in those moments?
They definitely, made me look up and be like a little bit nervous in those moments for sure. I mean, like, I think it's just PTSD from Anfield this year of like, that's how we've lost one of our two losses this year.
Right.
So it's, it's definitely something you're going to pay attention to if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to those moments, but thankfully nothing came of either free kick. Uh then I guess the biggest talking from this game, and
Yeah.
we're almost there, people. We're almost there, and I'm so ecstatic to stop talking soon. Was the moment in the 3rd minute of injury time or added time when Connor Bradley injures himself while putting the ball out for a throw, and he's sort of on the touchline. Martinelli, in my opinion, clearly doesn't realize that this guy's hurt himself and thinks he's just, trying to waste time. A guy that gets hurt, rolls back on the pitch, tries to stop the game. And, he does, he's a little aggro. He wants to get the game going. He wants to play. He sort of tosses the ball at him a little bit. Then he tries to shove him off the pitch. That results in a melee. I'm hearing that on the Sky Sports broadcast, Gary Neville was wondering why none of the Liverpool players decided to take a red card and just punch Martinelli for doing that. And the whole melee ended with Connor Bradley getting stretchered off the pitch. My opinion is that this is really only a huge talking point because one, the player got injured, but no, I'm not saying no one knows because when I saw the replay, it was clear to me that yes, he's hurt himself. But I imagine that the player that they weren't even dueling, so it was a non-contact injury. So there was really no way for Martinelli to know that the guy was hurt, and his actions were still inappropriate. Because guess what? You shoving a guy off or on the pitch, the ref is going to book you for that. Okay, it's just unnecessary behavior. You shouldn't do that. But what's your take on it? I think it's been made an issue because nothing else happened in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Nothing else happened in this game. It's the one talking point. To me, if Bradley doesn't get stretchered off, I don't think it's as big of a deal. Martinelli was booked for it. Got a yellow card as he should for like shoving a player who was down injured. I think Arne Slot had a really good quote about it of like, there's a lot of time wasting with fake injuries. So I understand his frustration. I don't think there was malice in it. I think he was punished properly by taking a yellow card. And I think that there is a abnormal amount of pearl clutching for it. And I think most of that, I think, stems from Bradley genuinely being hurt and getting stretchered off. But like, it's a very nothing thing. He doesn't like punch him or any, like he's not swinging. He's not doing anything like trying to hurt him. It's clearly like an annoyance of like, it's a frustrating game. It's 0-0. We're trying to get on with it and play. And from Martinelli's perspective, it's someone trying to time waste. And so he's frustrated about that. He gets punished for it, which he should. And then we're acting like he killed him. And I don't understand the reaction to it. And I think it's a little bit overblown for what it is. People are like demanding an apology from Gabriel Martinelli, like he fucking murdered Connor Bradley, and I don't understand.
Like, it's crazy because he didn't injure him. A couple weeks ago, Mickey Van de Ven broke their 125 million pound player's leg while he scored a goal, and no one demanded an apology for that. That's the kind of thing we really don't want to see. In this instance, a guy that wasn't aware another player was injured pushed him a little bit, did not add anything to the injury one way or another. Like what he did to him was not going to add or take anything away from that situation. And we hope Connor Bradley gets well soon. But it did not look good. It looks like an ACL type thing, from the replays. But yeah, I I'd be naive to say I was surprised by the online reaction to it, but whatever. Like, if you want to go ahead and proceed thinking that Martinelli is now a scumbag because of this incident, by all means, go ahead. That's on you. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can suck it from the back. I don't care. The final moment of consequence of this game was the corner that we got with the very last play of the game. Nani swings it in. It's a good delivery. We all know who gets on the end of it, Big Gabby. And in line with the rest of the bullshit going on in the game, he does not make good contact, which is weird because that's meat and drink for him. What went wrong there? Was it the rain, the slippery? What happened, Mitch? We should have won it at the end there. I think it was a good chance.
I 100% agree. I think he scores that 9 times out of 10.
And this was a one time.
Yeah, and I'll be so honest. I really wanted that. Not just because we take us to 8 points clear, or just we want to win every game. I would love to just like beat Liverpool while playing like shit, because it's what they were doing like at the beginning of the season and all last season. Like, I would love to just beat them at the death while playing like shit. Would have felt really good. I would have taken that and been so fucking hyped.
Man, the tenor of this podcast would have been so different. So
Oh my
different.
god, we'd be going for double the time. Instead, we're probably almost done.
Oh yeah, we're almost done. Like even Gabby would have showed up. Shit, like if I
Yeah.
told her at the end, she would have found a way to get her ass out here. But it
Yeah.
is what it is. But yeah, game over, 0-0. This is a game I typically like. One of the treats of my week when I have time is to rewatch every game. I try to rewatch as many of the games as possible. I know I will not be wasting a minute. I'm not even gonna watch the highlights of this shit. I don't give a fuck. Like on to Portsmouth in the FA Cup. We're still 6 points clear, so life ain't all bad.
Yeah.
And we'll be hosting Portsmouth at the Emirates. We will not be wearing the No More White kits for the first time in, I believe,
No
5
more
years.
red, but yes.
Yeah, no more red, rather. Yeah, but I'm pro-black like that. What can I say? That's it. I'm very excited about that news. I know that the initiative is great and all that, but I don't think we've had a great record with those kits.
We have a horrible record with those kits. We've failed to advance 3 of the 4 times we've worn them, often against lower league opposition or opposition that is not better than us.
Yeah.
So I do like that we are when they covered it in The Athletic, there was part of it that's just like, it's still a great initiative. They're going to do a lot with the initiative, but they're not wearing the kits anymore because sometimes there's just a little bit of superstition in sports. If you're not doing well wearing a jersey, you probably shouldn't wear it anymore. And like that's what we're doing, and I think that's the correct choice. I think the easiest little razz for this is, when you dress like Spurs, you're going to play like Spurs. So,
and that is not what we want. Even if their manager is our favorite eater. God damn, Thomas Frank loves the Arsenal. Man, what'd you think about that theme from yesterday with the cup?
He's a bigger fan than us, I think.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, the things I've heard about this man in Arsenal and the way he's talked about us over the years as Brentford manager, and even as Spurs manager, he loves us so much. I bet he has this hat that you have on. He probably has a throwback jersey in his closet. Yeah. He is a gooner for sure. Like, and somehow the joke is always on Spurs. I don't know how. Somehow it's always on us. Crazy.
It's the best.
All right, man. Well, I guess we'll do this again. What's our next league game? Who are we playing next? Do you know? I know that's my job as host, but I'm so lethargic.
I know we have United in a couple weeks. Who do we have next?
Let's see. Let's look it up, folks. Let's look it up. It's our job. Let's get that information. Get out of here.
Well, no.
I think it's Chelsea. So it's some cup games.
Forest away against Forest is our next league game.
Okay. Well, it's early days. I expect us to get something out of that game. But this league is hard, man. This league is hard. So many people thought that we'd turn Liverpool over. I had my concerns, and unfortunately, it turned out the way. I mean, honestly, I thought they might steal it from us. Like that's what I was fearing. I was like, oh man, we're about to get ambushed because the vibes are too fucking good right now. Like all our rivals are dropping points. We are indomitable. Everyone thinks we're about to pull away. This was so guaranteed to happen. Like, come on, people. Like that's advice to stay humble.
Obviously, we've had a very muted performance, much like Arsenal today. But guys, Arsenal are in such a good place right now. 6 points clear. City look very fallible, and this Arsenal team is very, very good. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through a draw. We can do it, guys. I believe.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing it back around on a positive note, Mitch. I really appreciate that. As for the rest of you listening to this shit, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. You know what to tell people, Mitch?
Peace.